Today I'll be reviewing one of the best investing apps around, M1 Finance. Now before we get started, make sure you hit the like button as well as subscribe to my channel. M1 Finance combines easy automation with building wealth. I absolutely love M1 Finance because it's one of the best apps to get started in investing for beginners, especially if you're using a taxable brokerage account like I am. I'm going to show you how to sign up for an M1 Finance account, and I'm going to go through some of the features of the website and the app. Let's take a look at M1 Finance. Now below I have my M1 Finance referral link that you can use to sign up for M1 Finance. You will get at least $10 free for using my referral link if you deposit $100 with M1 Finance. Now I said at least $10 because sometimes the promotion changes to where you get even more money. I've seen it as high as $30 for signing up with M1 Finance. But in order to get the free money, you must deposit $100 with M1 Finance at a minimum. I will put my M1 Finance referral link in the description box below. Now M1 Finance allows you to use the investment platform with either your computer or your phone. To invest with M1 Finance, there are no management fees or trading fees that you have to pay. You can get started with as little as $1 invested in each fund that you choose. As with most platforms, you can invest in stocks, bonds, or ETFs. Now M1 Finance is a little bit different than most investment platforms because it allows you to build your investment portfolios by using pies. You can build these investment pies by using stocks, bonds, or ETFs. You can use a combination of any or all of the stocks, bonds, or ETFs that you choose. I love this because you can set up your investment pie that you want to use and then invest your money on autopilot. So it's just as simple as choosing the investment pie that you want and then investing that amount on a reoccurring monthly or weekly basis. So M1 Finance has a true sense of real automation built into the platform. After you enter your personal information, you will then be taken to a screen that makes you choose at least 3 stocks, bonds, or ETFs. You must choose at least 3 of these to invest in before getting started with M1 Finance. Now I recommend using ETFs if you don't already have a stock or bond in mind, and I'll show you later what ETFs to invest in if you don't have an idea of which ones you want to choose. I started my M1 Finance with just $100 and I've grown the account to over $700. I just deposit funds that I have left over on a weekly or monthly basis. I plan on using my M1 Finance for passive income in the future. Let's take a look at once you sign up for your M1 Finance account and you're logged in. Once you are logged in, you will come to the home page. Once you're logged into your M1 Finance account, you will have a tab for invest, spend, borrow, research, and transfer. If you're using a computer to log into your M1 Finance account, this will be at the very top, but if you're using the app, this will be at the bottom. But no matter which one you use, these are easy to find. So let's take a look at the invest section. In this section, it tells you all of your investments that you currently have with M1 Finance. It will tell you your portfolio balance, all of the pies that you're invested in, as well as buying and selling items right directly on the page. In addition, under the activity portion, you can see any dividends that have been paid to you, any trades that you've made, or any deposits that you've made into your M1 Finance account. Under holdings, you will have all of your investments that you currently hold. The fund history and bank connections mainly talk about any funds that you've transferred in to your M1 Finance account. I always keep the auto invest on my M1 Finance turned on. This is because M1 Finance will automatically invest any money that you have over a set amount. So the default is $25. So any amount over that $25 will automatically be invested in your investment pies. Now under the spend tab, it allows you to use M1 Finance as a savings account. Any money that you have not invested can be stored here and earn a substantial interest amount. So if you have money that is sitting there waiting to be invested, it will earn interest from this savings account. The savings account with M1 Finance comes with a debit card that you can earn cash back for certain purchases. The borrow section of M1 Finance is something that I do not use. You must have at least $10,000 invested with M1 Finance to be eligible to use this section. Under this tab, it allows you to borrow money to make investments against your current investments that you have. Now, I would not recommend using this section unless you know exactly what you're doing. Now, I currently do not use this section and will never use it because I don't like to borrow money that I invest. That's all I'm going to cover on the borrow section. Under the research section, you can research stocks, bonds, and ETFs that you want to buy or sell. The market news tells you about the stock market and what is happening. The stock section tells you everything that you need to know about a particular stock. In addition to buying or selling the stock, you can add the stock to your portfolio or your watch list by using this tab. And the same thing goes with the funds tab. You can research any funds that you may be interested in purchasing or add them to your watch list. The My Pie section shows all the deposits you've created as well as the funds that you're invested in. The expert pies sounds exactly like it is. These are expert pies that have been built by the experts. You can either choose to do your research here or invest in one of these pies that have already been created. And the watch list is where all your stocks, bonds, and ETFs will be located. Let's talk a little bit about my investments and what I use for M1 Finance. I only invest in ETFs with M1 Finance, so no individual stocks or bonds. I use Robinhood for those type of trades. I currently invest in stock funds, bond funds, and real estate funds with M1 Finance. Now, if you're not sure what to invest in, I recommend choosing ETFs. There are 3 Vanguard ETFs that I think you should choose if you don't have an idea of what to invest in. These Vanguard ETFs that I'm going to mention have a very low expense ratio. The first ETF that I'm going to recommend is VOO. This fund is the largest 500 companies in the United States. The second fund that I'm going to recommend is VTI. This is all of the companies in the United States, no matter what the size of the company is. And the last fund that I recommend is BND. This is the Total Bond Index Fund. Now, you can use these 3 funds to invest in forever and never change any of your investments. You can simply set up a reoccurring investment on a weekly or monthly basis and use these funds to invest in forever. The only time that you would need to change this is if you wanted to invest in some different funds. But this is not required, as these funds cover all parts of the market. Now, here's what I'm invested in, which are all index ETF funds. I'm invested 50% in VOO, 20% in VTI, 10% in VNQ, 10% in BND, and 10% in VXUS for a total of 100%. You can rebalance your M1 Finance portfolio at any time. All you have to do is push the rebalance button in the investment tab. Now, here are a couple of important things that you need to know about M1 Finance. Now, I don't currently use M1 Plus because you're charged for it. It allows you to trade earlier and borrow more if you decide to use this M1 Plus option. But since I'm not interested in either one of these, this is not something that I would use. Now, M1 Finance is a great platform for somebody that doesn't want to pay a lot of fees. It allows you to get started with as little as $1 in any of the stocks, bonds, or ETFs that they sell. Once you set up your investment pies, you can choose the reoccurring amount that you want and invest on a weekly or monthly basis. So once you initially set it up, you don't have to worry about changing anything if you don't want to. And like I mentioned, I absolutely love M1 Finance, and this is an account that I'm going to use for passive income in the future. I'm going to slowly build it up to a large amount by using extra funds that I may have. Make sure to use my referral link below when you deposit $100 to get an additional $10 for free. Also, make sure to check out my other investment videos that I've done on my channel. Make sure to comment below and let me know your investment pie charts that you build, as well as if you have any questions about M1 Finance. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.